Hmm. All right, I guess I'm live. Oh, there it is. There's the little yellow thing. It says live. Hi, it's just so Trish, and it is Mama Chat. Oh, I better make sure. All right, I'm still doing a little. Just a little. Oh, I still can't get this stuff figured out. But it is okay. Still again. All right. There we go. Okay. Get the rest of my, whatever going on here, getting this all figured out. Okay, so it's Mama Chat today, and today we're going to talk about, for those of you that are coming back in the live play, how to handle when one door closes and another one opens. I'm going to tell you, I'm living this in the moment. I've given a lot of experience to this, and that's the sound of the Legos falling down. First off, I do want to start off with last week we had a little talk, and we were talking about just the difference between the generations, and between the Generation X and the millennials that came in following them, and just how there's miscommunication and misunderstanding. And I was just so thrilled. Breath of Wonder came on later on and just started explaining, and I was like, oh, this makes more sense. And it's one of those. And then I started reading about the different generations that come through and what cultivates that form of thinking and what was happening. And that had to have been the most phenomenal read I read. And from that, so of course I had to go check out Breath of Wonder. And she has one video up so far. And I was just so impressed, and I love the topic that she did on. So next week, Breath of Wonder will be on Mama Chat with me. So I definitely want you to make sure that you're here for that. And we're just going to talk about the importance of not doing it perfect, but getting it done. And I have to say, I'm very guilty of just getting it done. I have a lot of, out of one girlfriend, we had an amazing, I'm so sorry. I got to chat. Can y'all go play in the other room? Anyways, we just did kids camp, and I was with somebody. It was so funny because I have a sweet friend named Jeannie, and together we were like the Jeannie and Trish show, and we just complimented each other so well, and we both took away so much from each other. She was amazing about being in the moment, making relationships. And then of course she said I was amazing because I got stuff done. And I go, but I feel like I should be in the relationship more. And she's like, I feel like I should just get stuff done. So I'm completely super excited about Breath of Wonder. Later on, I will put a link to her channel, and when she pops on here, I'll call y'all out there so you can go subscribe to her. But I think it's going to be an amazing show. She has a great personality. She's very, a bit like me in the whole just the way she talks and carries on. She's wonderful. So let's just say Joelle has made it in. Yay. Creative Minds is here. My son is here. Homeschooling a Doodles made it. Case Italian made it. Shannon White made it. Chaos and Grace made it. Amber Allen made it. She says, I love Mama Chat. April Moore says, I'm in so need of this today. Need to hear someone older than 12. Thank you. You're welcome. Hey, what can I say? Wait, what can you say except you're welcome? But I say, you're welcome. No, what can I say? Stacy says, please keep me in your prayers. I found out yesterday the nodule in my lung is cancer. I'll have surgery July 30th. Yes, ma'am. Let me get that out. Let me get that ready. Kind of deal. I was just brushing my hair. I will not lie. I will not lie. Alrighty. Okay. Stacy, I'm really sorry to hear that was cancer. Okay. And that was in your lung, right? Yeah. My mom is fixing to have several surgeries with her eyes. They found them cataracts and all of that. It's just crazy. And she's such a good spirit about it. She's like, I've got 4 surgeries. I'm like, I would be totally flipping out. And I was like, yeah, I got 4. It's going to be this one. I'm like, she's amazing. Dream, achieve, repeat. Hey, hey. Chaos and Grace will be praying. Mayflower says hello. Darcy of Harmony Homestead Farm says hey, hey. Amber Allen says she's praying. Very good. So today we're talking about when one door closes and how to handle that. And I mean, we've all had it in different ways in our life, and it's not like you had one traumatic event. It happens all the time. And without getting into details, I can't actually get into details with mine, but I've got so many opportunities. I just want to talk about handling them. So there's times that doors closes, there's doors that close that we are fighting to get through and they close on us. And there's times that there's doors closed and we didn't even realize they closed until later on. And a lot of times when those doors close, it has to do a lot, it's handling like, is that our identity? So if you guys have had just like anything recently where you have plans and you think you have your intentions and you're moving forward and just the door shuts on you, whether it be staying at home, working, family, church, anything, you know, put it in there, put big like stars or just write, do not say out loud if you don't want me to say it out loud as we share these things. So that's okay. And I won't share them, but we can share them quietly with each other. But dealing with those things. And a lot of times when a door shuts, there's other doors that are fixing to be open. And I've had this conversation, especially with other believers and just being in fellowship and counsel with others. You know, a lot of times when those doors, a lot of times God has something so much bigger for us and so much better for us. And when those doors can be wide open, but if we are so focused on this one door that we can't see those other doors, he's going to shut it. And the problem is when that door gets shut, a lot of times there's a lot of emotional baggage that goes with it. And it's just such a change. And we are making all these adjustments. And it's not that we're upset. Well, we could be upset. We could be very upset. But, just kind of like realizing I need to keep stepping back until I see the other doors in life. So there was an incident where there's two churches. Well, we'll just say two churches. And these two churches have done a lot together. But this one church was always the smaller side of this bigger church. And they worked together and they were wonderful together. But it just felt when this new church, this smaller church, we'll call it small church B, wanted to begin growing. It felt like things that used to be there in the relationship with church A were no longer available. And there felt like there was disrespect. And things that they had had tradition working with each other was no longer there. And church B felt really heartbroken. And those of church B were just like, but why? And I'm like, but you realize that you stand apart. You've just taken a choice to be something different. And God has called you to be. But when you do that, you might not fit in that relationship anymore and you need to be removed so you can go out and spread your wings. And sometimes that happens in our situations that we're in something. I know I'm speaking so generality. I just don't want to get into details of different aspects. It's kind of like your favorite car. Your favorite car finally dies. You've been there for a long time. But the problem is your favorite car doesn't really fit your family. It's too small. And so, it might have even, for those that have big families, it might have even been part of the playing of not having any more and adding to your family because your car was so small. And then the door shuts and the car dies and you have to move on. And at first it can be very devastating. Now we have expenses that we have to pay. And we have, I just brushed a dog. I am so sorry. That's why I've got a cough. The allergies. We got the expenses. Now we have to go buy something new. Are we going to like what we find? There's all these different aspects that can be just an emotional roller coaster and moving on with change. Change is hard. But then realizing you got something better that was better gas mileage that is more comfortable and you don't have to have the car door duct taped together. And it's like, this was better, but the trauma of the beginning can be so hard. So Stacy says, I'm sorry about your mom. I've been dealing with colon cancer, going to different organs for 5 years in October. I'm finished my chemo for the 4th time in April. I just thank God that I am still alive. Stacy, I am so thankful you're still alive too. And I'm glad that you come and be with us. Mom is good. She's just getting some eye repair. I think her last surgery is lifting the eyelids. And I always talk about, I'm like, I already got a drooping one, just like my mama. um, and I'm thankful for all of you that are praying, and may God bless all of you too. Yes, Stacy, and God bless you. Praying for peace and healing from Darcy. Crystal's made it. She says, perfect topic of the day. Homeschooling a Doodle says, this happened to me recently with a friendship, but after many months, I now see God was moving me out of something I couldn't have left myself to help me grow in Him. It was so hard. Yes. Oh my goodness. I could go on and on about that, of just realizing, like in the instance with a friendship, I had one and I didn't realize how toxic of a friendship it was. It was absolutely toxic. And yet what was crazy was I began doubting myself in this toxic friendship, and I kept trying to do anything to make it right, make it right. And the problem is sometimes in those toxic relationships, they make it seem like it's your fault. And as brutal as it is to end that relationship in that familiarity, as you step farther back, you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize how hostage that had me feeling. And you're like, oh, I kind of have that in a situation here recently. Same thing. I've worked very hard to fit in this little box. I tried really hard to constantly give of myself in order to be part of something. Not necessarily there was nothing special about the ladies I was dealing with. It was just in the organization that they were in. I wanted to be part of that organization. So I was making sure that I made myself available to them a lot. And yet at the same time, in the midst of that, they're backbiting, dismissing, talking so vague, you're like constantly asking questions, and then they act like you're being just high maintenance. But yet they're not providing any information, and their intent is they don't want you there. So it's funny because then something happened and their true intent became evident. And I was like, oh, you guys don't really want me around. You actually don't like me, and I can be part of I can be part of that same organization in a different way. I'm good. Peace out. Have fun. See you later. And I just can't believe what freedom has been released for me in the last few days, just from that blessing of that door shutting, that friendship shutting, that idea of a friendship shutting. And I was just like, wow. So Homemade Home says, hi from Sedell, Louisiana. Hello there. Mayflower says, this has happened to me with infertility. Had always expected to expand our family after our first child, but it hasn't worked out. And trying to be content with one child I have. Yes. And there's going to be times it takes years to see those other doors that were open that we walked through that we didn't even acknowledge. Lori says, Trish, I get to watch live today while I cross or drive the Metroplex. I don't know what that is. I hope that the closed door situation ends up being a blessing on the long run. I'll be streaming Mama Chat while I drive. Lori, it was funny because I do want to say, and Amber says yes, and Crystal Van Meter says, I just got off of work, yay. I will tell you, I came home from children's church, our children's camp, kids camp, our church kids camp. And while I was there, I was just like, there's a door in my prayer time, God's just like, I'm getting ready to shut a door. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be good with it. And I expected it to be YouTube. I really did. And I was like, Lord, if you have intentions of me ending YouTube, And that's the door you want to shut for now. That's the door you want to shut. I open this door because you put it on my heart to open it, and I'll close this door if you put it on my heart to close it. So either way, I'm good. And I was really expecting that to come about. And when I got home, within an hour of being home, I found out what door shut, and I was in shock. I was in shock, and I mean, crying. And it was like the best experience because I got to find out. I was with my husband. It was just us alone, and we got to talk through it really quickly. And I was like, wow. And it was amazing because when I accepted that door to be shut and I wasn't trying to reopen it, I'm still not trying to reopen it. You know, God didn't say, I'm not closing all of this to you, but I have to close this part of it to you. And you have to start here from there. And I just said, okay, and I was just like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to do that, but we're going to figure it out. And I'm going to tell you, I said, I didn't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to figure it out. Within 4 hours, I got a phone call and was told how. By that night, I had an invitation somewhere else. And I was like, so I'm 3 days into the situation of this door being slammed shut. And I'm good. I'm good with it. I'm shockingly good with it. There's things that have to be taken in order to deal with that. But I'm just like, okay, then not a problem. That comes from a lot of lifetime experiences of doors being shut, and doors being shut going, if it's shut for a reason. It's the abruptness of it being different. That's the scariest. Mayflower says, yes, same here with a friendship recently. God has really shown me some things and has put some distance between us. Right. And sometimes those doors close slowly and then they click. And sometimes those doors slam shut. Chaos and Grace says, toxic friendships. It was damaging every other relationship I had, even my marriage, and I didn't even realize. I know. It really is. And you've walked through, you're in a good place when the door's been shut. And sometimes, we're talking about doors being closed. Nothing specific, just in general. The crazy part is when a door shuts on you, and you have to be careful because sometimes doors will get shut, and that door may feel like your identity. Those are really scary situations when they feel like your identity. Sometimes they just shut because people are just downright mean. And guess what? God still uses it for his glory. It's still part of his glory, and it's still part of his will. And when something comes together, or somebody gets ugly, or a situation goes crazy and that door shuts, just remember it's never a shock to God. It wasn't a surprise. He knew it was happening. It's not a shock. And so we should be careful not to treat it as though it should be shocking God. He knew it was going to happen. I got to readjust my thing. He knew it was going to happen. I know I feel bad. You probably feel like you're looking up my nose kind of deal. And so it happens in friendships. It happens with jobs. And sometimes God is protecting us from something. So here's a good one. When we were at kids camp on the last night, we ended up with some of our kids ended up with a 24-hour flu. Well, one of them. And the mom is getting ready to be the new kids camp director. And so she's like, he's puking. I need to leave. And before she left, she's soon to be the new kids director. Our current kids director left with her son because he was not feeling well. And so then the new one to be, I'm like, well, you can take over a little earlier. It'll be okay. And the new one, her son's now vomiting. So they go to leave, and she doesn't get 20 minutes away, like 15, 20 minutes away, flat tire at 11 o'clock at night, and she can't change the tire. So then we had to have some people go and change it. And by that point, it's closer to midnight, and she has had to come back. One of the reasons why she left was because she knew the 24-hour bug was fixing to hit her and she will be vomiting, and she didn't want to be there for that. And yet she had to come back and be in a dorm style room with 30, no, probably 24 women, 24 women and children, and she's vomiting. And so, bless her heart, she spends the whole night vomiting. We're all just like, what do you need? And she's like, be left alone, just leave me be, and I'll just keep vomiting in here by myself. And the next morning she felt a bit better and we got talking and she goes, I guess God just didn't need me on the road. I'm like, probably. Or she's had some dealings of just being insecure about taking this job. She goes, I didn't ask for this job and I've got this job and I didn't have a good reason to not take it. And I'm not sure if I'm qualified. And I'm like, yeah, but God said, come on back, even vomiting, you got this. And you can handle it. And we really felt like that was a divine moment of just like, wow. Now, the reason I knew all this went on, because we had an amazing time at kids camp. We had a little dance party in the girls' room with a fog machine and set the fire alarm off. So all the boys had to come out of their dorm, all the girls, we had to go outside. And of course, everybody's flipping out except all the little girls we had for the dance party. They were just like, wow, we set the fire alarm off. I'm so sorry. I have not been coughing. It's just, I literally changed my clothes. I was covered in white fur from our Great Pyrenees. And all the from the dog has got me going. So we had this crazy dance party that we then moved out to the front in the middle of the night on the porch in summer, but the mosquitoes aren't bad, having a dance party with all the kids now. It was the best. It was just absolutely so much fun. Mayflower says, yes, that's what happened to me with a friendship. Moon Glowing says, sometimes God is protecting us from something. Homeschooling in a Doodle says, yes, on the divine protection. Creative Mind says, I'm always comforted to remember that God is not unnerved by what unnerves us. Right. You know, that has been kind of my theme for the last 2 years since just the nonstop, it has, you know, it just has not ended with the house flooding, you know, just the constant change up and us kind of losing our balance over the last 2 years and living in all this wonder is just like really, and I'm not going to lie, I'm sitting in a place, I don't see the doors opened. I see all the doors that are shut. I just don't see the open doors anywhere at all. And that's really, really hard. Crystal says, you're right, Trish. In this situation, we need not blame and work with it and gain strength, faith, and hope. And the new door that either has opened or will open. IB had doors closed abruptly and it hits you like a ton of bricks. And sometimes the new feels the same, but it's a good thing. And God bless you with what you can handle and sometimes a challenge. Yeah, that's a lot like dealing with. So as this one door shut, I kind of started having an epiphany. We have moved out to this area and got our property. We got 10 acres on our property for our property. And we bought an older home next to it. And so for the last 4 years, we've had our house for sale. And everybody loves our house. And the few times we've gone to closing has never been our house. It has been the buyer with their finances. And so as we lived here, it has been crazy how many times the door's shut. And like in our case, that open door we're looking for is a home that fits us, is our open door that we're looking for. And we're like literally looking for the front door, the open door to the front door of a home that fits us. And so we moved out here, the house flooded and that door shut to live there. And it actually put us in a situation we had to move out back to the house we had up for sale And so we kind of that door had shut, just emotionally had shut for us. And so we were there, and we're like, this is why we left. We love this home, but this is why we left. And it's just, it doesn't fit us. It's a little tight for us, and it is tight for us. It's not in the area we want to be in. We want to be able to have animals and acreage, and it wasn't the right door. So we tried to get in there, and we did the best we could, and we couldn't fit. So then another door open, it would be this splendid, tiny little house. And in all honesty, as much as it drives us crazy, we don't want to go back. It's not the fit for us there. And so we're here. And the house that flooded, I told my husband, I'm like, I'm going to open that door up. I'm going to make that door happen. And I've pushed that door open, and I'm like, we'll just get it, and we'll gut it, and we'll fix it, and we'll move back in, and we'll make it work. I'm going to make that door open. We were there an hour and a half working. We got so sick. And I just realized the door shut. The door shut completely. And so I looked at my husband and I said, we're working really hard to be here, but what happens if this door isn't really open to us? And there's something else that we're not taking advantage of. Kind of like, do we need to back up? Is there another door we've been ignoring for the last 4 years that God's trying to get through to us? And I'm just praying for us that we have the wisdom to see that and to keep backing up until we see that door. And I told him, I said, I really have a feeling if we willingly turn around and walk to that other door, whatever door that is, everything's going to just take care of itself. But, it's really hard. It's one of those, like, it's really easy just to say that after 4 years, like, it must be something else. And at the same time, it's really hard because for 4 years, we've been trying to make this door work. And it's just kind of like, well, maybe we need to change our heart and our mind as we pray. We pray to God to give us a home wherever, whatever it may be. But yet, are we really mentally and emotionally accepting that? Because we might not be. So, oh, look, somebody already gave me a thumbs down. So sweet. If y'all want to give me a thumbs up, I'd greatly appreciate it. So, and thank you for whoever gave me a thumbs down for taking the time to give me some feedback. Whatever. So it's just, you run into those aspects of handling the closed doors. And let me tell you, in life, even in college, say it's going to college, say it's getting your child into college, there are so many doors to check to make sure that are open when you start getting doors shut on you. Because it's it's really easy for things not to work out the way they should or that you expect. And then you feel, thank you, creative minds, you're so special. With college and thinking like getting my kid into the university, it doesn't matter if your kid's a public school, private school, or homeschool. This all works out to be the same. There's so many different ways that to get into a school. And, what is it, Mike Rowe? Isn't it Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs? Like he says, you've got trade schools an option, and that's just it. As college doors shut, there's a lot of people forgetting that trade schools doors are open. As curriculum doors shut, there's other curriculum doors that are open. As public school shuts, there's other doors that are open. And it has a lot to do with us expanding our thinking on these things. And they can be hard. Sometimes it's hard to accept that this is not going to be my way. And it comes down to, are you pursuing a life that's in your will? Or are you pursuing a life that's in God's will? And a lot of times when we're pursuing a life that we're trying to be in God's will, we're still holding some of our own will that, no, this is what I have to have. Well, is that going to cause you to keep knocking on a closed door? Is that going to have you just knocking and wasting your time, wasting your energy, inefficiently trying to open a door that's never been meant to be open for you. And the harder part is when your friends around you can get through the door just quite easily. And for you, you knock that door and you can't get through, and you're watching people just go, and you're like, what did I do? It might have nothing to do with what you did. It just might not be a good use of you for God to put you through that door. It might be the aspect that that door has been opened and it's time for you to leave, and you're not listening. You're not aware. You're not going to look. And so you have to be pulled out and shut the door. That's what happens, and I'm a stubborn person. I'm a really stubborn person. Not really. I'm not a mean, stubborn person, but my daughter with ADHD, that's one-minded focus, she gets it on us. And so I'll be of one mind, hyper focused on an idea that I can't move past at all. And God has to yank me back, shut the door, and padlock it so I can't even get to it. And I will mourn the loss of that experience, of that opportunity, of that person, of that event, of that sometimes church. I mean, I'm going to tell you, I had times, there's another aspect that you want the door to shut and it doesn't shut because God's not done dealing with you there. And I have had that in my life too, where I've been somewhere that I'm like, this is not where we need to be. And every time I try, like the only thing leaving me back is my toes, because God's like, no, no, you're trying to get away. And he's like, no, you're staying here. And being willing to commit to that. And on that part, it's like, man. And then after a while, you're like, thank you for not letting me leave, because I really wanted to leave. So, Creative Mind says, there's so much to be learned while you are in the waiting between the closed doors and open ones. There is so much to learn. And sometimes you learn it while you're there, and sometimes you don't learn it until after the doors have opened and you've moved on. Sometimes you don't get it till months past the certificate of accomplishment that you survived. Homeschool and Doodle says, it's just a negative troll looking for attention. I get those all the time, which is so rude when you are sharing your heart. Oh, it's okay. I'm sure I might have a visitor who has been trying to slam a door on me. And I don't mind at all. They can come visit all they want. Doesn't bother me. Cowardism is cowardism. It doesn't bother me at all. Becca says, hi, Trish. Just happened to catch you. Yay. Oh, I'm so excited you're here. So Chaos and Grace says, we're hoping our children have a heart for trades. The debt is so awful for a 4+ year college, but that's a whole other topic. That is so true. That is so true. Joelle says, it is hard when the toxic relationship is family. My mother-in-law's family. Now that's my father-in-law's death. They've become so give me this and give me that. Oh, it is. I will tell you, I will tell you, like, just on my, you gotta love it when God shuts your mouth. There are people, I've had amazing relationships in my life and with family that was only for a season. And it's for an important season. And when they were there, it was so crucial. But at the same time, as wonderful and as much as you love that person, it can become toxic. And then God shut the door. And it's been amazing. Like, to watch it in a hindsight, sometimes just sad. Because there'll be, there's just time God has a wall, God doesn't have a wall. I will tell you, I've had somebody for 4 years that I just could not jive with, and she couldn't jive with me. To the point, like, if she was around, I just left. And I don't know what it was. Both of us, whenever we were around each other, we both felt attacked by each other. And I now look at it, I'm like, I don't know if we were, I know I wasn't attacking her, but I don't think either one of us were really attacking each other, but just God had a veil going on at the moment that he would not let that door open. And I just kind of accepted it for what it was and moved on. I didn't get upset by it. I was just kind of like, well, that's just, I'm not her cup of tea. She's not my cup of tea. We're good. And from that, just this last weekend, God took the wall down. Humongous. Humongous. I mean, knowing her for 4 years, I was just like, we have a budding friendship. Oh my goodness, we're so much alike. Oh my goodness, you're doing those things too. And it's just been absolutely phenomenal. I could cry because I'm emotional. I've got to be hitting menopause. It has been just so bad lately. The heat from my body. Anyways, that it was just like, oh, but now the door opened. And that's just the thing. That same door could be shut for now, and you need to move on. And when it opens, God's going to make sure you're in front of that door when it opens. That's how it is. Creative Mind says, hindsight is a great teacher. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. It's funny. I had a situation where I spent a lot of time in divulging myself, opening myself up. And they kept having this like off feeling with that person. Like, they're playing the friend mode. I don't know, but they're something. I don't feel like they might not be friend. They might be foe. And I kept having to dig it down. It's like, no, you shouldn't feel that way. No, you shouldn't feel that way. Then an event happened. The door shut. Hindsight 2020. All the pieces fall in. I'm like, should have trusted my gut on that one. But there just wasn't a reason why until there was a reason why. Jealousy and insecurities can be a dangerous thing for people. So Shannon says, this is our daughter in college. The one she wanted said, you can be on the waiting list. The one she was not their first choice, but the college that wanted her opened the doors wide and did so much for her. Right? Exactly. Totally get it. Down South Housewife says, Trish, off topic kind of, but can you tell me how Ed2Go went? I'm thinking about trying it. I really liked Ed2Go, but what I ran into was their classes are scheduled. I know, just like right side, but who knows? Somebody must need to know this outside of Down South and I. Their classes were very rigid scheduled. And so for me, I was learning to build websites and how to handle that. And so what I ran into is I probably could have devoured the whole program in a week, but I was stuck to wait out 6 weeks to get through the program. And that was kind of irritating to me. And then once it was over, it was over. You couldn't sit and watch the workshops anymore. I really like Udemy. I'm going to type. I think somewhere I'm an affiliate through them. But to be honest, it's too much work to deal with finding the affiliate links. Just saying. So I like Udemy. They run sales. That's about $10. And then once you have access to the courses, you have them forever, including any of their updates. So I like it. And then their video content time of instruction runs about 5-10 minutes. It's not really long. And then you have little questions in them. I really like that one. And they have a lot of content courses. So there's that. I hope that helped anybody else that was looking for that information. Becca says, I'm a people pleaser. Sometimes that comes back to bite me. Sister, you're with good company. You're with good company. I've got the Lord lead me. Sometimes I struggle with that. The big part, especially being a people pleaser or trying to make a door work, we can put ourselves in a struggle that we can feel like we're measuring up like we're not enough or we're not enough for people. And the big thing that comes into when you feel like you're not enough, you just are in the wrong place because you are enough. And if you're around a crowd that can't see that you're enough, there's something wrong with them. Because listen, you're God's favorite. Every one of us is God's favorite. If it was just for you and you alone, he would put his son there to die for your sins, not for the masses. If it was just you that would take the faith and take the gift, he would have done it because you're his favorite. And I'm his favorite. And everybody's his favorite. That's just how it works. And from that, if you're being undermined and treated as though you're not enough, then you're with the wrong people, you're in the wrong situation, and you've got to move on. And sometimes that moving on is moving into the unknown that you don't even know. And realize sometimes God makes us miserable to get us out of the doorway so he can shut the door. So Mayflower says, yes, I felt that lately with family. Like they expect more and more from me because I've been always giving. And that's where it comes down to. I've had times, I have family members, I really want to have a relationship with them. And they won't even show up when they're 5 minutes away. And they'll make it kind of idea. And then they'll let me know, I'm expecting too much. Even though I drove like 6-7 hours, and then they won't even be home to see me when I'm next door because they know I'm there all week. And the hard part is when they tell you, I need to take care of my family. I need to do what's right in my home. You're expecting too much, and you don't have a right to expect that from me. And it's just kind of like, that can make you feel like you're this small. And at one point, you just have to come to terms that as much as you want that, that's window shopping. Those places, okay, so you got the doors being open, but some places are just meant to window shop. Look, say hi, and keep moving on, and don't even grace the door. The door's never going to be open. The relationship you're going to have with those types of folks are going to be window shopping. And it's hard and it's devastating. But if I fought to get in there, I would never be good enough. I would never be enough. I would never be right. I would be considered cruel. I would be considered insensitive. I'd be considered doing the Trish thing. I would never fit. And let me tell you, it hurts that that door is locked. But it doesn't mean I can't window shop and go say hi through the window and keep moving on. And it comes to the realization it's not worth my energy to try to break through doors that have been locked, that have been shut on us, when there's so many doors that are open to us. There's so many doors that are asking us to come forward because this is what's good for us. All right. So where am I at? So Isabella's like, amen. Becca says, yes, totally, Trish. So needed to hear that. Tanya made it. Yay, Tanya. I see you're doing some learning to read with CLE right over the summer. Watching you on Instagram. Okay, you guys, Rumble Lab. I need you guys to scroll over Rumble Lab on those 3 dots and go and open up the side tab. Don't leave me. Open up the side tab and definitely go and check out his channel. Mamas, you are going to love his channel. So we met Rumble Lab at the homeschool convention. Bubba's going to go get the lifesaver. He's so excited. And so anyways, when Bubba got lost, I couldn't find him. I kept walking by, and he was over at Rumble Lab doing 3D work. It was so awesome. But so anyways, Rumble Lab is a definitely, it's the engineer in STEM. I'm just going to put that out there. So Moultrie is a mechanical engineer that now stays home and makes really cool stuff on YouTube and has these amazing kits for the kids to put through. So he had made this huge 3D printer lifesaver, and then this kid came up and messed with the equation. And so him and Bubba sat and recalculated it out so it would fit on a pencil. So now we got lifesaver pencils. So then they started collecting all the pencils everywhere to make lifesaver pencils. It was hilarious. But definitely go make it, because it's definitely one of those channels. Moultrie's a really fun guy. I can't even begin, because after sitting and watching him, I'm like, I really like you. We've got to promote you. He says hi. And so I really liked him on the aspect that he teaches troubleshooting through doing these projects. And what he does is, you can go find the projects around the house and order them on Amazon, or you can buy his kit, because he's got a kit together for you. and he walks the kids. But what I love is it creates a sense of industrialism. It gets the kids out there creating and testing, and they're dealing with pistons. And I was laughing. I'm like, you dropped the Bernoulli, which is an engineering term. And there's a lot of times we watch. I know I totally went on a tangent on this rabbit trail right now. But, I watch too many times that we're kind of being sold an idea that we're doing STEM with our kids. And there's no engineer in STEM. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. And very rarely are we dealing with the engineering aspect. And the engineering doesn't mean that we're out there with our protractor, we're out there doing hard calculations. Engineering has a lot to do with seeing a problem and testing to find a solution. And then testing, is that the best solution? And working through the trial and error of finding solutions and how to go through the troubleshooting practice. And even though, like in this case, he's playing with pistons that you can do and you can make on your own. And no, we're not talking about car pistons. It's actually using little syringes, but creating that piston action. But those troubleshooting ideas can carry you over everywhere else. So definitely, you guys go over, definitely hit the connections there for Rumble Lab and make sure that you are connected. Okay, I just went on that tangent. Now I wanted to be there. So Rumble Lab does say, loving this, Trish. It's a sweet reminder and encouraging to hear how you stand strong in your faith, even through trials. You've got to. Joelle says, laugh out loud. I'm with you on the house. Every time I think we're leaving to a place that I think would fit us, but we live in the same small space, right? Rumble says, we love you, Demi, for the record. Thank you for introducing us to it. Yes, I was like, okay, you guys, you have to go on Udemy, and these are the courses you need to take, and this is how moving up on the aspects. Monica says, hi, Trish. I completely understand everything you're saying and have been there. Trying to please people by staying around, even if I know the actions are wrong. It hurts, yes, but God knows best. He does. He absolutely does. Crystal says, cool. Chaos says, whoa, we love your channel. Joelle says, awesome. A really cool channel. I need this in my homeschool. Right. Monica says, I'm late to the party, but glad to be here. Monica, I'm so glad you're here too. Rumble says, thank you for the kind words. Becca's here. She says, Trish, I would love you to watch my husband's videos. He writes his own music and shares his testimony on YouTube. Just search Aaron Binge when you have a minute. All right, let me write that down. I don't have a lot of minutes right now, but I will when I get a minute. I'll put it on my list. Okay. So I just want to leave you with that encouragement. If you are watching this on the playback, share with us what you're comfortable sharing, just how you've dealt with closed doors and open doors. And honestly, when I go through trials, and I've been telling you this for years, when I go through trials, it's either I need to learn something from this in order to help others. I'm being used as an example of testimony for others. There's going to be people that watch the way you deal with stuff, especially if you claim as a believer. People watch how you handle really hard things, and they want to see who you are doing it. And sometimes God puts you through it just for that. Sometimes he puts it through you so that you can be prepared and equipped to help somebody else later. And because I know I'm God's favorite, and you're God's favorite too, I know that I must be that special to be trusted to do one of those three tasks. And that's why I've been given this task to do it. And I'm good with that. There's Breath of Wonder. You guys, do you see Breath of Wonder down there? Breath of Wonder, I just told everybody, as long as everything works out, that you will be with me next week as my guest as we talk about just getting it done. A millennial and a Generation X, showing you how to share it all. So definitely, you guys, you've got to watch her video. Hit those three dots next to Breath of Wonder and definitely add her channel. You're going to love her. I mean, she got the one video. You might end up having to make some more videos, but that one video is still just amazing. And it definitely is such encouragement as we are being faced with perfection and just the value of just get it done kind of deal. You got to get it done. And if you're one of those that just get stuff done, don't forget to be in the moment and build relationships, because it's so important. Becca B73 says, just recently went through a trial. I told that the person that I know scripturally, I needed to bring this to the person and ask if there was an issue. They were very receptive. Awesome. That is so important. That's absolutely, and just realizing, you guys realize doors are going to shut every day and doors are going to open. And sometimes these doors have been open for a long time waiting for us. And sometimes a door just opened and it's a window. And you just have to realize, if nothing closed and nothing opened, it would be really, really boring. It would be phenomenally boring. And so embrace the change and find the adventure in it, and find the comfort that not at one point was this a shock to God. Not one point. He always knew this was coming. It was just a shock to us. And I'm not going to tell you, put that chin up, no tears, that door shut and better one's on its way. It's okay to mourn the shut doors. Don't let anybody tell you any differently. It is okay to sit and cry. Sometimes even yell and scream when those doors shut. And it's okay. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't forget to stand back up and go on and find the open doors, or step back and walk back from that to find the open doors, because they're always there. You might not have noticed them. If you're this close to a shut door, you need to back up. And when you're so focused on that shut door, you don't see all the other options that are out there. Oh, thank you, Crystal, for saying that, about remembering to give me thumbs up. Tanya says, that's how I felt going through the pain of a divorce years ago. I had to know how it felt to be empathetic to others. Mm-hmm. Had to know. And then it gave you that place to share. Or single motherhood. Now there's a mission field. And bless those that have to live it in order to be in the mission. Lady Flora says, this is such an encouragement. Thank you for sharing. You're welcome. Homeschooling a Doodle says, totally enjoying my live, your mama chat today. Thank you. Becca says, I think it's easy to build something up in my mind when I was seeing it totally wrong. Not that it's always the case. Sometimes you're so right. It takes time to count. It's time to count your losses. Yes. And you're killing my lighting coming in and out of the house. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I ran into, so now when I dealt with like what I've got going on recently, and once it gets all taken care of, I will share it with you. I ran into trying to give to a group so much, and just the people that were the doorkeepers and part of that group shut the door, slammed the door, shockingly shut the door. I was in shock. And at the first moment, I'm like, I thought it affected my identity, and it didn't. It had nothing to do with my identity. And, I just kind of ran in, and I was in just like shock mode for like 12 hours would be good. Definitely 12 hours. And so I'm coming right off of camp. I'm exhausted. I haven't slept because, we had we had the midnight fire alarm party, and then we actually had vomiting through the night with a kid. And so I was cleaning up that, good times at the church camp. She had a gummy bear overload with a little too much excitement from the fire alarm. And so I've been up all night, and I just was like, when I get home, I'm going to bed and I'm not going to wake up for days. I wasn't home an hour, and I get this blow that the door has been slammed shut on something. And I'm just kind of like shocked. I'm counting and I'm mourning all the negative impacts that this now happens. And as I'm looking, that's all I can see. And as I'm thinking about all these negative impacts, I'm like, God, I know you got a bigger hand. God, start showing me the light. God, start, and I'm just like praying. I'm like, I know this is going to end up being not a big deal. And we're going to work around this. And I know that. But I was in such shock. I went to lay in bed and I could not sleep for hours because my heart would not stop racing. It really upset me that bad. But I knew that there's peace there. It's one of those, like, my body hasn't caught up. My blood pressure has not caught up with the fact that I accept and I take peace in this. But it wasn't just emotionally, it was physically distraught by it. And it was just the shock and me mourning those negative things. And I don't like mourning those negative things. I kind of want to be like, God, can I just jump over that and be done? I get it. You got it. We're good. Can I just jump over that? And I think it was so important that he made me stay in that mourning aspect, because when I woke up in the morning, I couldn't believe I actually fell asleep because I was so upset. I could not believe I fell asleep. So by Monday, it was amazing. I woke up and I was calm. And sometimes you got the door shuts on you and you got paperwork to do. There's paperwork now to follow up from this. And that's, of course, you have to be in the right mind to do that. And I felt so blessed when I woke up on Monday. I was still shocked, a little angry, no doubt, definitely mourning that situation. And I was just like, but I finally had that peace. Like, it didn't matter now how this situation plays out. It's okay. It's more than me, and it's okay. And, and that just goes into mourning the shock of doors shutting is okay. And take the time to do it. Let's see, where am I at? Lady Flora says, sometimes I strive and work hard to try to make things happen, but it's such a release to put it in God's hand and trust him. And then you have this situation where you've worked so hard to make things happen, and it's not an efficient use of your time. And when you should be growing fields, you can't even get a weed to bloom. And you just know that, it shouldn't be like this. And then you realize that God shut the door, and you take a look at how much that door, going through that door, absorbed and sucked out of you without much gain. It is just like, oh, you did me a favor. You did me a favor. I shouldn't have been working through that door. We were not getting anywhere. There's another door we should be going through to do this. This is not, it's like trying to go up on a down escalator. You're working hard. You'll eventually get there, but you're going to be wore out getting there. When you can close that door going on the down escalator and go get on the up escalator, and you don't even have to try and beat the steps. You can just sit and ride it up to the top. And that's how I feel like we're dealing with things right now. Tanya says, God recognizes the poison in some things that we may not see or be willing to see. And remember, some plants, here's the thing about it, and not all things are bad for all people, because there are some plants that are poisonous to cats and they're fine for cows. There's some plants that are poisonous for a goat and will kill a horse. And just realizing it has a lot to do with who we are. Oh, it's 3:00. We got to get going. I got to pray for y'all. So Crystal says, I pray for you. Thank you. Tanya says, sometimes the door gets shut to save us from our own selves. Yes, definitely true. Monique says, that's really good, Tanya. I agree. Darcy says, Trish, something better is on its way. No worries. And he showed me, he sent me a postcard of it within a, not a real postcard, but, like a heart postcard within like 2 days. When I was ready to need it, knowing that I need to make new plans, I got a postcard. Postcard from God. I was like, yes. And I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am. I'm like super excited. I can't even begin. I can't wait till I can share it with you guys. Lori says, Trish, I admire your perspective to accept that what comes your way. No bitterness, no poor me, no blaming. You are willing to look for the blessing in the midst of the trial. That's maturity. Thank you. Be careful. Some of those doors would not agree to that. But I'm just kidding. Lady Flora says, laugh out loud. Yes, exactly. It's a waste of your time. Tanya says, us homeschool moms are doers. We overdo a lot of the time. Sometimes it's a good thing for doors to get closed. Especially if you end up in a group when you're a doer, you know things need to get done, and you're with people who don't want it done. And you can become a target because you threaten their paradigm. And sometimes it's worth fighting to make that situation become forward, and sometimes it's not at all worth it. Not worth it at all. Lori says, I made it home, so now it's safe to comment and enjoy the end portion of the live chat. Oh, and I'm fixing to pray for you guys. I almost missed you. Hello, Meg from Creating Essence. Make sure y'all definitely share. Actually, I'm going to take whoever is left. If you have a channel that you're making content for, go ahead and just say follow me, and I'll read you out loud for everybody watching, and then come back afterwards and leave a comment to follow me, and follow me on my channel here. And they'll just be able to click. Don't put a click a link to your sorry, it took me a moment. Don't put a link to your channel in the comments, because when you put the link to the channel, YouTube will block it, and I don't have enough time to I'll be honest, as much as I wish I could tell you I could be all that in a can of biscuits, I can't. So I'll never be able to get to the thing to release your comment. So just put in there like, oh, you should follow me. And if you want to put a description about your channel, that would be like phenomenal. And then everybody will know. And remind me to start doing this. We need to do this so we can all be together. Because there's some of you I don't even realize that I don't have a channel for. Okay, so Mayflower Homeschool says follow her. And Creating Essence says follow her. Sorry, I gotta fix my things. Tanya Meadows says follow me. Homeschooling in a Doodle, follow me. I know I don't follow you, so I definitely need to make sure to follow you. I can't tell. It looks like a Great Pyrenees, but he has a black nose. I don't think so. In your picture, I can't see real well, so it's hard to do. Anyway, so I'm gonna close it. You're looking right there. We're gonna click on that after I get done watching this, and you can see. Girl, that cough is still hanging on. I hope you're okay. Green Gables. My cough was gone, and I brushed the hair out of the dog. I have a grocery bag full of dog hair. I changed my clothes because I was full of dog hair. Roughing up all the dirt in the dog hair, brushing the dog. This just came back, and I brushed the dog right before I did this. Not really smart. I should not have done that. She's a golden doodle. Oh, a golden retriever and a poodle. Isn't that cute? Wrestling baby, missing it. Follow me. Yes, definitely follow Creative Minds. She's on it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pray for us. Dear Heavenly Father, first and foremost, we just want to bring you, our sister here on YouTube, Stacy, as she's dealing with her 4th round of cancer treatments, as this cancer is chasing her organs one by one, dear Lord. Please bring healing, and let the surgery just let it be the last, Lord. Let her healing come forth, dear Lord, and just give her hope and give her healing. Dear Lord, be with my mother as she goes through her surgeries. Give her the courage that she puts the front of having, and let it dwell in her heart. Lord, today we sat and we gave our hearts out and really had to sit and deal with the fact that you do close doors, Lord, and sometimes you open doors we don't want until we've been there and realized it was what we needed. Lord, be patient with our stubborn little minds and our flesh that wants what our flesh wants. Lord, help us to have that mind and that heart that we follow you and not our will through the doors. Dear Lord, let us have comfort when those doors close. Let us take our moment of mourning and let us pick up and move on so that we are moving forth with you. Lord, thank you for the technology you give us to have this time together. In your son's precious name, amen. Becca says, I never made a video, so I'm guessing I need to post a video first before I say follow me. No, say follow me. Yeah, I mean, it's potato. Joyful lady. Hey, lady, I just stopped on here really quick to tell you I'm heading to sunny Florida today. Praying for this mama going in cancer. Yes. So maybe Joy-Filled Journey and myself will have a little Q&A. We're supposed to meet up. I'm so excited. I got to do what I said I was going to do. But I'm so excited. We're going to meet up and we're going to have a really good time. So amen. I will talk to you guys later and see you next week at 3 o'clock. We will be with Breath of Wonder and we'll be talking about just get it done. Not perfect, but just get it done. All right. Definitely make sure don't close out your window anytime soon. Anytime soon so you can catch everybody up there that's like, I'm clicking subscribe like crazy. I know it was so much fun when Creating Essence came. I wish we would have had more time because like we just fell in love with each other immediately over donuts, of course, and then a library trip. And we should have just done so much more. Monique says, amen. I'm going to go put the replay on while I work on lesson plans. Yes. Creating Essence says at some point we need to have a YouTuber summit. I concur. I concur very well on that one. Creative Mind says she loved the chat. We'll miss you guys. See ya. Thank you, Rumble, for stopping in. Don't forget to follow Rumble and click his little 3 dots and add his channel to your list too. All right. Bye, Stacy, and take care. Oh, yeah. Kids are like, peace out, Mom. Peace out.